remarkable that for countless millennia, humanity maintained a way of life deeply harmonious with the natural world. From the earliest days, when the first human walked the earth, our lives were grounded in simplicity and balance. Our modes of transportation relied on animals such as donkeys, horses, and camels. Our currencies were gold and silver, real wealth with intrinsic value. The food we consumed was pure, untainted, and nourishing. The process of birth and growth unfolded in accordance with nature's rhythms. Illnesses were treated with remedies drawn from the earth, herbs, plants, and natural elixirs. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, something strange happens to the world. In only 300 years, everything changes. Nothing left uncorrupted. Religious texts foretell the coming of a force, Gog and Magog, a mysterious and powerful people who will rise suddenly and dominate the entire world with an unprecedented and seemingly invincible force. Their power will be unmatched, their reach global, yet their rule will not be rooted in truth or justice, but in corruption and tyranny. Imagine a global superpower so vast, so unstoppable, that no force on earth can challenge it. A global elite, unlike any before it, so dominant that for the first time in history, a single group will command the land, the sea, the sky, perhaps even extending their grasp into the realm of outer space. Their aim, to corrupt the very essence of what it means to be human. Mind, body, and soul. They will contaminate our food and water, manipulate our diseases and even their cures, to reshape our relationships, our education, our very way of life. The corruption will be all-encompassing. Yet one thing remains certain. Gog and Magog seek to remake the world in their image, to compel all people to think, eat, dress, suffer, and die in the same way. What few truly understand is that at the core of this civilization lies a profound connection to an ancient land, a land where history first stirred and where in the end it shall culminate. Every action they take, every war they wage, is ultimately in pursuit of that sacred city. Yet they forget a truth that transcends time. Only the righteous shall inherit the land. Their journey began in the rugged depths of the Caucasus Mountains. They emerged as a nomadic, warlike people, relentless, trampling everything in their path, even turning against one another, reshaping their identity as they pressed forward toward their ultimate destination, Jerusalem. But how did they achieve this feat? One must look back to the 6th and 7th centuries, when they found themselves hemmed in, on one side by the formidable Islamic Empire, and on the other by the Christian Byzantine Empire. Countless battles ensued. There was no retreat. Then, in a curious twist during the 8th century, the kingdom abandoned its nomadic ways, adopting Judaism as its state religion. In time, segments of the 8th population would also embrace Christianity and Islam. Thus all three Abrahamic faiths were penetrated, setting the stage for the coming struggle. Their gaze remained fixed on Jerusalem, and then, as if swallowed by history itself, the kingdom vanished from written records, yet its people endured. Like Dhu'l-Qarnayn, the righteous king described in chapter 18 of the Holy Qur'ān, who undertook 3 monumental journeys, they first moved westward, gradually establishing dominance in Eastern Europe. Eventually they subdued all of Europe, weakening and dismantling Christianity in the process. Echoing their ancient past, internal conflict among their factions paved the way for one tribe, the Anglo-Saxons, one nation, to rise above the rest, England. In rapid succession, England seized control of the seas and turned eastward, embarking on a global campaign of conquest and colonization. What began as overseas possessions and trading outposts in the late 16th and early 17th centuries soon blossomed into the largest empire the world had ever seen. By the 19th and early 20th centuries, it reigned supreme, the empire on which the sun never sets. A striking irony, given that their first expedition had begun in the direction of the setting sun. Having completed the westward and eastward expeditions, the time had come for the third and final phase, the movement northwards, closing in on the ultimate prize. This phase required more than isolated skirmishes. It demanded wars of global scale. Once again, history rhymed. Once more they found themselves facing an Islamic empire on one side and a Christian power on the other. Both had to be dismantled to clear the path to the ancient city that had drawn them forth from the Caucasus centuries earlier. World War I achieved just that. The Islamic Empire was dismantled, while the Christian world was infiltrated through revolution, namely the Bolshevik uprising. After centuries of bloodshed, the final opening came almost effortlessly. In 1917, they entered Jerusalem. But the journey was far from over. The conquest may have been achieved, but the true mission had only just begun. Often identified as European Jews, their sudden and enigmatic conversion to Judaism centuries ago was not a mere happenstance. It was a calculated maneuver. Today, the strategic nature of that decision is becoming ever clearer. In the aftermath of the First World War, it became increasingly feasible to persuade the Semitic Jews dispersed across the globe to return to the Holy Land, the very land from which they had been exiled 2 millennia earlier, a punishment believed to be divinely ordained. Yet the true descendants of those exiles were neither persuaded nor inclined to return. Thus, in keeping with the militaristic and morally compromised legacy of their forebears, a profound threat had to be orchestrated, one so immense that it would compel the Jewish people to seek refuge in what was both a newly promised and ancient homeland. The horrors and upheaval of the Second World War served to accelerate this migration. What remains shrouded in mystery is the nature of any agreement, tacit or explicit, that may have existed between the rising forces of Zionism and the dark machinery of Nazism. Today, the descendants of that movement, spread out across the globe, pursue their agenda with unwavering resolve. Their methods are marked by deceit, manipulation, corruption, and violence. They are consummate tacticians of illusion, allowing no obstacle to hinder their aims. Yet even amidst the prevailing darkness, a flicker of hope emerges, an unfolding prophecy, a light piercing the gloom. Now once more, the peoples of the Caucasus stand at the threshold of conflict, engaged with a formidable force near the ancient lands by the Black Sea. Just as a barrier was once raised by Dhu'l-Qarnayn to contain the earlier infamous tribes of Gog and Magog, a new kind of barrier, psychological and spiritual, is now being erected by a resurgent Russia. NATO, long perceived as the modern military embodiment of Gog and Magog, finds itself confronting the possibility of defeat. Make no mistake, these are not a people who accept loss easily. Their history is replete with betrayal and internecine strife. When faced with resistance, they have but one recourse left, a great and terrible war, the final war, Armageddon. It is woven into their very nature. It is their legacy. This is the world order of Gog and Magog.